if somebody's comfortable being on camera and they say, how do I become a content creating machine without working so hard? I'd say, take a video, create a video and upload it to YouTube.
You are listening to Amplify Your Success Podcast, episode 282. And today, let's discover a very simple way to leverage and repurpose all of this short video that's trending right now. You ready for this? Let's get started. Welcome to the Amplify Your Success Podcast. Get ready to ramp up your revenue, amplify your impact, and make your mark in the world. This is the show for experts, thought leaders, and service professionals who want to shatter their limits and achieve that next level. You're going to find out from other experts and influencers how they made it. Now, let's get amplified. Hey there, inspired entrepreneurs and business leaders. It is your host, Melanie Benson, authority amplifier to expert-based business owners and service professionals. And today I am going to take you into a little bit of social media. This is such a great, let's just call it a hack, because that's really what it is. This is a time-saving hack, but it's also going to solve one of the common problems that a lot of people share with me, and that is, Melanie, I feel like there's a million types of content I have to create. I first met today's guest for my podcast. It's one of the tools that we recommend. If you have my Authority Brand podcast toolkit, then you know that I recommend this. I love this tool for repurposing. And I was having a conversation with the founder and owner of the company, Hani, and Hani was like, did you know you could do this with short video too? And my excitement just went off the charts. I'm like, we have to talk about this on the podcast. I'm very excited to share this with you. Now, here's another, maybe something you didn't know you could do with this. So, I teach people how to leverage other people's audiences, particularly podcasts. And a lot of times people are like, how do I get more traction with these podcast interviews? Well, a cool thing, and we talk about this a little bit, is doing these short videos. You can do reels, you can do TikToks, you can do stories. There's a lot of different versions you can do, but you can leverage these short videos as part of sharing your experience of being a guest on someone's show. Not only is it a huge compliment to the host, but it'll help drive more traction by leveraging the short video. Now, you'll have to listen to the rest of the episode to hear how to repurpose that short video and turn it into content on so many different platforms. But if you're looking for ways to stand out, you're looking for ways to get yourself on these top podcasts, little things like this make a huge impact. If you want to know all of my tips and resources, all of the strategy I use to create a steady stream of ideal clients and build amazing collaboration partners with top podcasters, you're going to want to make sure you get my guest expert system. You go to guestexpertsystem.com. You'll get all the details. This is my 8-week course that shows you how to get booked, how to create a magnetic talk and title that draws ideal clients to you, and then transform those leads into 5-figure clients. This is the strategy I used to add an extra $125K or more to my business each year. I've been teaching my clients how to do it, and now I'm going to share this same process with you. GuestExpertSystem.com. Now let's get into today's episode. Welcome back, amplifiers. Today, we're going to be talking about some really cool ways to automate the repurposing of all kinds of video. Now, I know you know that video is important. We've all heard we need to be doing more video, but a lot of people don't even realize you can actually expand the impact of all types of video by repurposing. And my friend Hani Mourra is here today to tell us how to do that. Now, Hani is the CEO and founder of repurpose.io. It's an easy to use automation tool that helps entrepreneurs, coaches, and content creators maximize their exposure without spending hours and hours publishing to all these different platforms that keep emerging. And I was getting to know Hani a little bit more, and he lives in Toronto, Canada, which is one of the Canadian cities I've never been to. So I hope to rectify that soon. But he was telling me about how he is a dad to 2 little girls, and he coaches their basketball league. I think that is so cool. And did they win? Did they win the season this year?
We won our last game, but more importantly, these
good.
girls develop. That's the beauty. You see them grow.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. It's fun to see young girls grow in whatever they do. In this case, basketball. It's a lot of fun. It's so rewarding.
Yeah.
Win
I
or lose,
think
you can grow.
little kids with sports, it's really about who they become versus whether or not they're winning, right? And
Exactly.
us parents have to remember that part. So you and I had a little kind of connection call a few weeks back. I use your tool. We've been using it for years, and my podcast manager is so excited about all the things that you could do. And so we were talking, and you were blowing my mind when you were telling me all of the ways that you can take content that we're creating all the time and repurpose it. So I thought we would start just with a little bit of like a bigger, broad stroke. Like, what kind of content can you repurpose?
Yeah. So I always tell people create the content you're comfortable with, whether if you're comfortable on video, great. If you're comfortable going live on video, that's great too. If you're not comfortable on camera, just prefer audio podcast, that's great too. You can repurpose any piece of content into multiple pieces. And one thing for me, I like to clear up front is what is repurposing and what is distribution? Because they're kind of different things. A lot of people use those words interchangeably, and it's not, in my mind, they're not the same. So I like to kick off with the definition of repurpose is taking a piece of content and turning it into something else. So let's say you have an audio, you turn it into a video. You have a video, turn that into a clip, or turn a video, turn that into an audio, etc. So to me, that's repurposing, like changing the format so you can put it on a different platform in a different way, so we consume it in a different way. And distribution, of course, is putting it out on as many platforms as possible.
Yeah, that's a good distinction. You jumped right into my next question, so I'm glad you covered that ahead of time. And we really want to be doing both. And I mean, obviously the time saving component is big, but what else is possible for us course creators and busy entrepreneurs when we tap into this kind of automation?
So if you create any kind of video, whether it's a live stream video, whether it's a course, whether it's maybe you go live in your group, your private group, those are great. Or do one-on-one calls with clients. Those are great pieces of content that should not just live behind one group or one channel. You can turn them into a ton of different pieces of content. You can turn them into little clips that you can post on social media platforms. You can turn them into short clips that you can post on things like TikTok and those kind of like really short form pieces of content that do really well, like Facebook, Instagram Reels, TikTok, etc. And if you have long form content, long interviews, and you're doing video-based interviews or live interviews on live streaming platforms like YouTube and Facebook, those are perfect candidates to turn into an audio podcast, because not everybody has a chance to sit in front of a computer and watch long form content. They prefer to listen to it. So those are kind of the examples. If you're doing video, and most people who do a lot of video tend to forget about the opportunity of turning that into an audio podcast. And then people who do also video forget that they can chop that up into small clips and post 1 minute clips on social media. So people scrolling their feed can stop and say, oh, there's Melanie. Let me see what she's up to. And give them bite-sized, like, quick fix of video clips and get them hooked. But more importantly, it lets you post consistently on social media. And that's the key on any platform. You need to be consistent publishing. I want to say daily, but I don't want to scare anybody, but you want to be close to daily as possible. But the good news is you don't have to create new content daily.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to set people up for success, right? And most of us know daily content does outperform everything else. But even if you're being consistent with less frequency, it's better than not consistent or not doing it at all. But I want to come back to the short video conversation, Hani, because I think over the last year, we've seen the rise of short video. And so short video is TikTok, Instagram Reels, like anything that's, 30 seconds, 15 seconds. And I think a lot of people are really intimidated by that. But, like why, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but do you have some sense of why that short video is performing so well compared to longer video right now?
I don't have a, clear cut researchy answer, but my gut feel is attention span.
Mm-hmm.
People like it's really scary, but it's getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and people just want instant results. They want to just flick, watch for a few seconds, get some value, scroll, 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 scroll. So the fact that, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 1 minute, um, you it's actually a long time for short form video. It's like you need to catch their attention the first 3 seconds. Otherwise, they're gone. They're gone.
Yeah.
So I always feel I felt intimidated myself until I started doing it and coming up with almost like a system, like a little mini system where I can just crank them out pretty quickly. And I really started enjoying it more than long form content. It wasn't about the editing and all that. It was really about how quickly can I deliver value in a clear, concise way, you know, get a hook them in the first 3 seconds, deliver the value, then ask for some kind of call to action at the end. So it almost became like a little mini challenge, and I really enjoyed it. It's
Hmm.
fun. It's fun if you have a structure to it.
Yeah, I think if you have a system and you don't feel daunted and it's like, let's just do the system, then it probably feels a little bit more fun. And I mean, I like where you're going with this repurposing of short form video, because if you could do it once and then you can leverage it and you're not having to create it for all the different platforms. Because I will fully admit, I'm like, okay, I dip my toe in the water on Instagram Reels, but then people are like, oh, you got to be on TikTok. I'm like, I've drawn the line. Like, I'm not going there. But then you and I were talking, and I thought, okay, you have radically shifted my perspective. So let's unpack that a little bit. Talk about what you've been noticing and how you're helping people automate short form video that is originating on TikTok so you can leverage these other platforms.
Yeah, that's something we've added very recently, and it was something that I, I sound selfish, but I kind of did it for myself a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of these features, it's not like people have driven us to do it, but there's some features are driven by customers, some features are driven by, okay, I'm a content creator myself, right? I wish our tool can do this. So let's rewind back maybe 6 months ago, 5 months ago. TikTok's been on for a few years at this point, but I signed up for an account, never used it for 2 years because I'm like, I'm not going to get up and dance. That's not my thing, right? We're a business, we're a
Pointing.
software company. That's not
Yeah.
my style. But for some reason, I don't know who triggered it again. But anyway, 6 months ago, I just kept walking back into TikTok and I started studying it, like just watching what people are doing, searching the keywords in my space, content repurposing, content marketing, see what people are doing, and then I just started doing it. And then a lot of the times on content repurposing, people were like, "Oh, just take your TikToks and put them onto here, put them onto Twitter, put them onto Reels." And I'm like, "Oh, that's a cool idea. That's a cool idea." And then one day I was like, I can we do this? Like, can repurpose do this? And then I started looking into it, and yeah, long story short, then it was like, "Oh, we can automate this." So we're basically I found what people were doing on TikTok manually, and that we have repurposed platform been around for so many years. We've never integrated TikTok. Why don't we help the TikTok community? Because I'm myself becoming part of that TikTok community, and that's how that feature was born. So basically, you can just do a TikTok, upload to TikTok, just like you normally do with whatever on TikTok app yourself, and then it can automatically go to LinkedIn, your LinkedIn feed, your Instagram feed, your Facebook, your YouTube Shorts, and your Twitter as a video. Um, Even without that watermark, that TikTok watermark, which people hate when you export the TikTok videos. So it does that all automatically. And I was blown away. I was like, holy smokes, this is awesome. Saved me so much time. And then when I started talking about it to the TikTok community, like sharing it videos and me doing it, people they loved it, right? Because they can focus on their core platform because their TikTok is their core platform, and the manual, tedious work of downloading that TikTok watermark free and uploading it here and putting a description and then writing a tweet, and that was all done for them automatically, like automatically to the point where you don't even need to log into their repurposed software to do it.
That's so clever. And I I love that you're taking what's relevant and what's what maybe people are struggling with today, which may not have been your original, intention or the evolution of your company, and you're solving problems, or maybe a better way to say is you're creating more automation opportunities for what's working now. So that's super hot. Now, just a quick question: if you started an Instagram reel, can you flip it? Can you start an Instagram reel and flip it, or does it have to start in TikTok and go from there?
It has to start at TikTok, and
Okay.
that's a limitation, not on our side. It's a limitation on Instagram side. They don't give an opportunity for people to get the Instagram reels to make them available. So
Right.
we tried that because, again, as soon as we don't want the TikTok feature, all the Instagram reels folks are like, "Hey, I love what you're doing, but can we go the other way? Can we go from reels to everywhere else?" And the answer is not yet. I'm sure one day it will become available. Somebody will figure it out, and we will kind of be part of that train. But right now, it's not really possible,
Yeah.
like technically possible. But I'm sure that will change. I'm sure that will
Got
change
it.
because
I just
TikTok
wanted,
wasn't even an option a few months until about 6, 7 months ago. They never opened up their software as well. So things change, things evolve, and we're on top of it.
yeah. And so we can cross our fingers and hope hope IG evolves the same way. Let's talk about podcasts. We have an enormous amount of podcasters in my community. And this is actually how I originally discovered Repurpose.io. What is possible for someone who is producing an audio podcast to leverage the value of repurposing?
So you can take your audio podcast. Um, it doesn't matter which podcasting host or platform that you're hosting your audios on. It doesn't matter. We're fully compatible with everything. So you can take that podcast, just and paste it into it, like copy the link, paste it into the repurpose software, and it will show you all your episodes inside our interface. And then you can automatically turn each episode into a video with like a moving waveform, some kind of moving parts to it. So you turn your audio into video with your own branded template and style, in square or vertical, and have that automatically published or scheduled to all your social media platforms. So like to YouTube, to Facebook, to Twitter, to LinkedIn, to Instagram feed, and to TikTok now as well. So you can have that go out to all those platforms, essentially turning a video into an audio. And then, of course, on some platforms like YouTube, you can go full length. Some platform, like most other platforms, and probably our recommendation is to do little clips. Again, it's all about little teaser, 1-minute clips of value that you are offering, that either your guest says, you say, something funny that happens, something that's worth watching in that, around 1-minute range.
Yeah, think of it like a trailer for your podcast.
Yeah, it's like you get hooked on it. Like you watch something, and no one's going to watch a long video, even if your platform lets you. Like Facebook lets you put long videos. Nobody's going to watch long video on Facebook. Keep them as short as possible, but keep it clean. And the one tip I give, if you're doing an interview-based style, you can almost kind of structure the flow of your episodes, and knowing that when I ask this question, this is a potential clip. When I ask this question, so not to script your whole podcast. Me personally don't like podcasts that are scripted, but you can structure it in a way where you can get at least minimum 3 and probably a lot more little 1-minute clips from your podcast.
I like that you can automate it. I'm in my mind realizing we don't do that part. It's like we're very effortful when picking the clip. So now my mind's going, oh, okay, we got to go revisit this feature because we're underutilizing the value of this tool that we've already signed up for and used. So that's hot. So now let's talk about YouTube, because YouTube, as we know, has really become one of the most powerful search engines on the planet. And a lot of people are originating video in their YouTube channels. So how might we use the repurposing available to us through Repurpose.io for YouTube?
Yeah, this is me personally, my favorite. Like if somebody's comfortable being on camera and they say, how do I become a content creating machine without working so hard? I'd say take a video, create a video, and upload it to YouTube, whether it's interview style or yourself. because what you can do so much with that. So obviously the video goes onto your YouTube, and you optimize the keywords and stuff. So there's tools like Repurpose is not like an SEO tool. There's tools that can help you optimize. So you do your magic, do the right thumbnails and everything on YouTube, and then you can do a whole bunch of stuff. You can create a whole bunch of clips from that YouTube video. Again, stylize them, even burn the captions, because YouTube generates captions for you or subtitles for you automatically. Our software grabs them, burns them right into your video. So when you make a 1-minute clip for social media, whether it's a vertical video for TikTok or a square or whatever format you like, the captions are burned right in. You have a nice headline on top. It's branded to your brand, and it's super simple. Like you don't need any video editing skills to do all this. So we grab everything from YouTube, and we send these clips to all your platforms, Facebook, Twitter, etc. You can put the full episode on your Facebook page. You can share the full episode on your Facebook groups if you have a Facebook group. One of my favorites is turn that into an audio podcast. We've integrated with a few podcasting platforms. So literally without you clicking anything in our platform, we can take that video, turn it to an audio, even add an intro and an outro to it if you upload one to us, and automatically ship it to your podcasting hosts. We're integrated with a few hosts right now. And long story short, it's live to the world if you want it to be. It could be a draft, but it could be live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, automatically from a YouTube video. And you can also go back. And if you've done YouTube videos 2 years ago, hey, let's publish this one as a podcast. So it's not only going forward, you can automate everything you already have in your YouTube library. So it's just, I guess the whole point of this conversation is to remember that we have this philosophy of create once, publish everywhere. To be consistent, you don't need to create consistently. You need to be taking what you have and slice and dice and repurpose into different formats and post those regularly over time, over the week, over the month, etc.
Well, what gets me excited about this conversation, and like you've already given me about 7 things that I'm not doing. In fact, I was pretty good at automating and repurposing. That I'm literally like, okay, check. I got to go back to my little authority brand podcast toolkit and add the repurposing thing here that you're talking about, because a lot of people want to do video. They don't want to have to go through the whole rigmarole of pulling the audio out. This is fantastic, time saving. But what I was thinking, Hani, is like I was getting really curious about this. I would imagine you probably kind of look at what's possible for this particular content repurposing, content creation. What's the thing that you wish more of us were doing in the automation and repurposing side of things? Like, where do you think we're leaving money on the table or reach on the table that you're like, oh my gosh, if more people would just do this one thing, it would like make their business so much better, or they'd have greater amplification, if you will, of their authority and their impact?
Yeah, I think there's so many ways to repurpose and slice and dice your content, but I think the quickest win that I can think of is these video clips. Like literally a 1-minute clip can, a 10-15 minute video can turn into 3, 4, 5, 7 1-minute clips. And that's 7 pieces of content times 5 platforms. That's 35 posts that you have. And we're talking like native video. We're not talking about anything else. So you can have 35 videos, not different clips, 7 clips over 5 platforms. And that's a lot of content for the month, right? That's posting every day. Then on top of that, you can make get them transcribed, have text post version, or make graphics and pull out quotes from your interviews. There's so much more you can do, but I find the easiest way, the easiest win is to just make clips from your videos, because, and it doesn't have to be a video you made today. It can be a video made a year ago. It could be a webinar that, a really popular webinar that you do over and over again. Pull out a couple of teaser clips and use them, almost like ads to advertise your webinar, or give them a sneak peek at your webinar. Or if you have, one-on-one calls, Facebook groups, like you go live in your Facebook group, there's great content there. it's a lot. We're always making content. Sometimes we forget, like right now we're making content. One-on-one calls with a client is content. Now, of course, you got to get permission if you're going to use it publicly, but we're always making content. And just thinking about how much life you can give one piece of content, it motivates you to create. It motivates you to keep going, because if you have to think, I'm going to make 20 pieces of content this month, forget it. I have a business to run. You have a business to run. It's not going to happen. But if I make one piece of content, I can turn that into 20, 30 different pieces. Hey, I'm willing to put the time in to produce that awesome, 20-minute interview or piece of content, because I know it's going to give me so much value for the entire month.
I totally agree. I'm just thinking about all the times I know I was a bottleneck for my team. And I'm like, I know, I'll get you that clip so you can put it on Facebook. And it never happens. Right. And so what I'm seeing as a possibility here, and as you're listening in, I hope the light bulbs are going off for you. And whether you're creating an audio podcast or you do a video show and you're like, oh my God, there was such great content, but I don't have the time to go back and do anything with the content pieces in there to get a greater, like an exponential reach with that material. I will give you some incentive. What I have noticed with my podcast is when we take the machine we have now and we pull these little snippets out and we share those snippets, that is what increases the listenership of the podcast. Because somebody hears that and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you talked about so-and-so, even though it published like 3 weeks ago, right? But they pick up that clip and then they go back and listen. Those are the clips that a potential client who's been hanging about on social media watches and says, oh, wow, like this is brilliant. Hey, let's chat. Like I want to talk and schedule a consult or whatever they want to do, right? Or how can I work with you to solve this problem? And so not only is it going to save you time, but these are the more consumable content chunks that get people to reach out and say, hey, what's next? How can I do more? So I see it as both. And I'm sure you've got a gazillion stories of people who've said, oh my gosh, we've actually got more clients or more YouTube subscribers or whatever it is because of this process.
You want to be, like you said, you want to be top of mind, really. And the only way to be top of mind is to publish consistently, almost daily if you can. And the only way to publish daily is not to create daily. That's not what I'm suggesting, because that's not realistic. Is to cut up longer content into shorter content. That's your quickest win that you can get. And yeah, I mean, I get a lot of feedback saying, "Oh, I see you everywhere. You're everywhere." And like that's the impression that you get. I'm not making content every day, but I have the impression of being everywhere because people see me in their feeds. The more they see, the more they click, the more they engage, the more the algorithm for Facebook or Instagram will give them more of your content. So you're training the algorithms to give you exposure by posting consistently.
Yeah. So as you're listening in, if you're like me and you're a very visual person, I am either going to twist Hani's arm and get back to you on this, or we'll do a little video like snippet of how this works, because this is going to be a game changer in such a huge way. And what we'll do is we'll post it on the show notes page alongside the podcast. So if you're listening into this and you're looking for the show page, if you head to amplifyyoursuccesspodcast.com, you'll get linked back to our show page. So, Hani, I want people to try this, whether they've got a podcast, they're producing video on Facebook or YouTube or wherever it is. And you have been very generous to offer a free trial, if I remember properly, to check out Repurpose.io. And we have a special link to make sure you get the trial price, which is free, correct, Hani? Yeah, tell us how it works and tell us what you're giving to our amazing Amplify Your community.
Yeah, so you can get a free trial. You can publish 10 episodes for free. I call them episodes, but they're videos for free. So you can really experience it, whether you're converting audio to video, video to audio, or just taking video and turning it into clips. You can do everything in that trial. And the whole idea is, so we walk you through the steps. There's walking videos to walk you through to get set up. But the idea is that you don't want to change how you create your content. That's very important. You want, whatever you do, if YouTube is your go-to, you connect your YouTube account to Repurpose, and you repurpose from there. If you have audio podcasts, you can connect to audio podcasts. So that's how it works, and we want you to experience it, regardless of how you create content.
Hot, super hot. So if you go to melaniebenson.com/purpose IO, so that's repurpose.io. So melaniebenson.com repurpose dot no. Oh my gosh, let me say that all over again. And team, edit this part. If you go to melaniebenson.com/repurpose IO, you will get access to this free trial of 10 episodes or 10 videos that you can try out this repurposing on. And I would love to hear how you're using it. Let's start a conversation in the Amplify Your Success Facebook group. Share with us. We'll be posting this episode. You can pop it in there, or you can just share like, hey, I used the resource. And tell us what you're repurposing and how it's working for you. I love hearing how you're implementing these tools and these resources. So that's the Facebook group for Amplify Your Success. Now, as we've been talking, I've been getting really curious. I don't always ask my guests this, but I'm super curious, Hani. How did you get started in a software company? Were you always like a SaaS provider? Did you like kind of stumble onto this along the way? Like origin story, please.
Yeah, it's a funny story. No, I'll say that again. It's a fun story, and I love sharing it. And I've always been a content creator. I got into blogging, I don't know, 2009, about teaching about video. Always been a video guy all my life. I went to school for engineering, so I'm a computer engineer. So one day, like I was blogging about video, teaching about, SEO for YouTube and all that fun stuff. One day I was like, oh, wait a second. Like, how do I take this further? Like, I'm not going to be blogging forever. I'm not going to teach courses. That's not my style. Like, I got to do more. I'm a creator. So anyway, long story short, this light bulb hit me one day. I was like, I'm going to create a software for video. That's all I knew. I didn't know what it was, but that got the fire going. I was excited. And I was like, yes, I found my purpose. Like,